Recently, the Senate voted in favor of doing away with a portion of the Affordable Care Act that would pay for birth control. And now that was an important part, especially because a lot of poor women couldn't afford the pill or other methods of birth control to prevent themselves from getting pregnant. Now, Jessica Chastain, who is an actress, for those of you who don't know, decided to tweet about this. She was angry. Now, her tweet isn't 100% accurate, but you kind of get where she's coming from. She says, birth control is no longer covered by health insurance. Congrats, USA. You're doing your part to keep women out of the workforce. Shaking my fucking head. That's what the hashtag means. So they voted, but this hasn't gone into effect. Obviously, there needs to be more steps until it takes effect. However, she gets the point. This is what Senate Republicans want to do. They want to ensure that birth control is no longer easily accessible or attainable for some women. Now,
so her intention, her statement about their intention is absolutely correct.
Yes.
That is what they want to do. They just haven't finished it yet.
Exactly. She says, if you're not ready to provide for a family, if you want to finish school, if you want to build a career, protect yourself, IUD, and then Planned Parenthood. Okay. So then an interesting twist occurred with this story, right? Mm-hmm. An MLB player decided to chime in on this debate, a gentleman by the name of Matt Garza. And he plays for a team that I have already forgotten because I don't care. I believe it's like Milwaukee or something. Okay. So he tweets about it and says...
I don't know either, by the way.
Milwaukee Brewers? Yeah.
The Brewers, yes.
Yeah, I think he's a pitcher.
Beer.
He does, the baseball. He says...
He does the baseball.
It's called abstinence, he tweets to her. A word that has been forgotten amongst this generation. It's the best contraception. Hashtag just saying. Okay.
Or what's saying.
Okay. So just a little bio on this gentleman. He actually got paid by a foundation to go around the country to talk about abstinence-only education.
Oh, good.
After it was discovered that he got his high school sweetheart pregnant at the age of 18.
Of course! Can I just say, now, it's combined with Bristol Palin, it turns out the only qualification you need to get paid to do abstinence speeches is to not do abstinence and get somebody pregnant when you shouldn't. Then they'll be like, nice work, okay? Oh, you got pregnant or you got somebody pregnant when you shouldn't have because you weren't doing abstinence at all? Then let me pay you a lot of money to talk about abstinence.
Yeah.
Bristol Palin got knocked up like 18 times,
Yes.
and they pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars to talk about abstinence.
You are the perfect example of how abstinence doesn't work. So why don't we pay you a lot of money to go around the country and tell people and judge them if they're having sex without the intention of procreating? By the way, humans tend to enjoy sex and want to do it whether they want to have kids or not. So look, under his thinking and under a lot of conservative thinking, okay, well, if you're poor, you don't get to have sex. If you can't afford to have a kid, you don't get to have sex. But humans don't work that way. There's so much research and case studies regarding this issue. I mean, think about all the different school districts and all the different states throughout the country that pushed for abstinence-only sex ed. And what happened? Teen pregnancies shot up, right? Perfect case study is Mississippi versus New Hampshire, okay? Mississippi, they only allow abstinence-only education. Their teen pregnancy rate is among the highest in the country. New Hampshire is the exact opposite, the lowest because they emphasize comprehensive sex ed. In other words, they teach people about contraceptives so they can protect themselves. Anyway, homeboy's got 6 kids. Okay? You got 6 kids. So no judgment.
God bless.
But please don't run around talking about, oh, you don't have kids and don't have sex. No, you don't get to tell people whether they get to have sex or not, okay?
I wonder if the first meeting with the abstinence group was awkward. Like, hey, Matt, we want you to go around the country telling people not to have sex when they're 18. Dude, I got bad news for you. That's kind of what I did. No, I know, but did you find Jesus right afterwards? Oh, yeah. And I found your paycheck and Jesus right afterwards, so I'm fine now. How come they never find Jesus before they have the sex? Okay.
And also, a lot of the focus is always on women, right? Because, by the way, a lot of married women are on birth control because maybe they don't want to have any more kids, maybe they don't want to have kids at all. But the way that conservatives think about birth control is, oh, the women that take it are like prostitutes. right? No. A lot of people take it maybe because they don't feel prepared, or maybe they feel like they're too old to have kids. There's so many different reasons, but it's none of our business to get involved and get into the nitty-gritty of their personal lives, right? That sounds like big government.
There was a debate during the Sandra Fluck and Obamacare proceedings, et cetera, when Rush Limbaugh literally said, accused women of who are taking birth control of being prostitutes and sluts, right? But I believe from that time, my recollection is that 99% of adult women use birth control. Okay, so, but maybe that is their view of thinking of all women, and so it's not an accident, right?
Yep.
And Matt, how about your wife, right? I mean, I know you're, God help her. Anyway, you got 6 kids. People are into that. Wonderful, wonderful, right? I'm not here to judge your lifestyle as long as you don't judge mine. But what if she doesn't want to have your 28th kid, and at some point goes,
well, no sex.
No
Sex.
abstinence, Matt. Abstinence, okay? No more sex inside marriage. Okay, that's the best way to prevent the kids. Okay? Okay, Matt? Yeah, by the way, in case you didn't get it, I think you're dumb. We already hired 1 investigative reporting team thanks to you guys. Let's hire the second right now. Go to tytnetwork.com/go.